The radio crackled with static. "This is SEAL Team Delta. We're surrounded, taking devastating fire from multiple positions, requesting immediate emergency backup." The response came back harsh and final. "Negative, Delta. No available assets in your sector. You're completely on your own." What happened next would become the most extraordinary rescue operation in Special Forces history. From which city in the world are you watching this video today? If this story captivates you, please consider subscribing to join our community of military history enthusiasts. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Steele pressed her back against the cold granite wall, bullets screaming overhead like metallic death. Her tactical armor was torn apart, her right shoulder bleeding heavily from shrapnel wounds, and her assault rifle was down to the final magazine. Around her, 11 other Navy SEALs were scattered across the narrow canyon floor, each warrior fighting desperately for survival against impossible odds in this completely unmapped hostile territory. Contact front. Contact right. Contact rear. The radio communications were frantic as enemy muzzle flashes illuminated the rocky walls from 5 different directions. They had walked directly into the perfect execution zone in what intelligence designated as Sector Black 7. Staff Sergeant Lisa Storm was positioned 30 meters to Steele's right, her precision rifle seeking targets along the southern ridgeline. "I count 60-plus hostiles," she transmitted through clenched teeth. "Possibly more incoming. They've got us in a complete death trap." The operation had begun as standard reconnaissance. Satellite intelligence had identified suspicious movement in this uncharted section of the Afghan mountains. Coordinates that appeared on no official mapping systems. SEAL Team Delta was assigned to investigate potential enemy installations, collect actionable intelligence, and extract before hostile forces could establish permanent operational bases in this strategically vital but completely unknown region. But intelligence had been disastrously incorrect about this being an abandoned wilderness area. They had miscalculated the terrain accessibility. Most catastrophically, they had underestimated the enemy's advanced defensive preparations in what appeared to be a naturally occurring but tactically perfect ambush location. This wasn't a chance encounter with local insurgents. This was a professional military force with sophisticated equipment that had been utilizing this hidden canyon as a training facility and command center, completely invisible to Western intelligence networks. "Steele, we've got crew-served weapons positioned on the northern cliff face," Chief Petty Officer Rodriguez shouted over the deafening automatic weapons fire. "They're systematically pinning us down for total annihilation." Steele activated his radio with blood-covered fingers. "Base Command, this is Delta. Actual, we are in critical danger in Sector Black 7, completely surrounded by superior forces with ammunition running dangerously low. Immediate response required." The reply took an agonizing 40 seconds, an eternity during life-or-death combat engagement. "Delta Actual, this is Command. We show 0 available air support for immediate close air assistance. Army aviation is 85 minutes out due to mountainous terrain complications. Can you maintain defensive positions?" 85 minutes was impossible. At their current catastrophic ammunition consumption rate, they would be completely overwhelmed within 12 minutes maximum. "Negative, Command. We need immediate tactical support now, or you'll be notifying 12 families of KIA status." Another devastating volley of coordinated fire forced Steele to press himself deeper behind his rocky protection. The enemy was systematically advancing from multiple vectors using professional military tactics, combined with intimate knowledge of this unmapped terrain that provided them with every conceivable advantage. The hostile forces possessed advanced thermal imaging equipment, military-grade night vision systems, and sophisticated communication networks. They had identified the exact location of each SEAL and were coordinating their assault with textbook precision of an elite military operation. Suddenly, a distinctly different sound pierced the combat chaos, a sharp, authoritative crack that stood out clearly from the enemy's automatic weapons and machine gun fire. One of the prominent muzzle flashes on the northern ridge went permanently silent. "What was that distinctive sound?" Storm called out, rapidly adjusting her optical scope. Before anyone could analyze the situation, another precise crack echoed from somewhere high above the concealed canyon. A second enemy position was permanently eliminated. Steele grabbed his tactical binoculars, frantically scanning the towering mountain faces that surrounded their position like natural fortress walls. "Does anyone have visual contact on friendly forces?" Negative, came the immediate, unanimous response. "We're completely isolated in this location." But they weren't isolated. Someone was positioned up there, observing, calculating, preparing to engage with lethal accuracy. The mysterious precision fire continued with mechanical, almost superhuman consistency. Every single shot resulted in confirmed elimination. Every target removal eliminated an enemy combatant who had been delivering devastating suppressive fire into the canyon just moments before. "Holy hell," whispered Petty Officer Martinez, his voice filled with amazement. "Whoever that marksman is, they haven't missed a single shot." The enemy fighters were displaying clear signs of panic. Desperate orders were being transmitted in what sounded like multiple foreign languages as they frantically attempted to locate the source of the precision sniper fire that was methodically destroying their coordinated assault operation. Steele's tactical radio suddenly activated with a completely unknown voice. Calm, controlled, and speaking with quiet, lethal professional confidence. "SEAL Team Delta, this is Shadow 1. Maintain your current defensive positions and allow me to work." "Shadow 1, this is Delta Actual. Immediately identify yourself. What's your unit designation and operational authority?" "No official unit designation, Delta. Just a concerned observer who strongly objects to seeing American warriors being targeted by foreign operatives." Another precise crack from the elevated position. "Another enemy gunman permanently neutralized." The mysterious voice continued with tactical expertise. "I count 38 remaining hostiles. They're executing a coordinated flanking movement on your southeastern approach. Strongly recommend immediate repositioning of 4 personnel to cover that vulnerability." Steele didn't hesitate. "Storm Martinez, Chen, Jackson, southeast defensive positions. Execute immediately." As his team repositioned with professional military efficiency, the unknown sniper's fire shifted seamlessly to provide comprehensive protective coverage. It was like having a guardian with perfect marksmanship and unlimited resources. But Steele had never received intelligence about any friendly forces operating in this completely uncharted territory. "Shadow 1, what's your current position? How did you obtain information about our mission parameters?" "Observed your helicopter insertion at 0330 hours local time. Been monitoring your movement and intercepting enemy transmissions since your arrival. When you encountered this prepared ambush, I determined you would require immediate tactical assistance for survival. Are you active military personnel?" An extended pause filled with distant gunfire. "Then, I was military. Different branch, different operational areas." The precision sniper fire was absolutely devastating in its clinical effectiveness. Each shot was placed with surgical precision, systematically targeting the most tactically dangerous enemy positions first. Heavy weapons teams, mortar crews, and field commanders directing the coordinated assault. But it wasn't just exceptional marksmanship. The mysterious shooter was demonstrating comprehensive understanding of advanced special operations tactics that clearly indicated extensive professional military training and experience. He was methodically forcing the enemy to abandon their prepared positions by eliminating their protective cover, then systematically engaging them as they moved toward alternative defensive locations. "Delta Actual, be advised. Enemy commanders attempting to coordinate tactical withdrawal toward the canyon's eastern exit. If they successfully reach those concealed vehicles, they'll return with reinforcements and heavy weapons." Steele could observe coordinated movement along the canyon's narrow eastern exit through his tactical scope. "Shadow 1, are you capable of interdicting their withdrawal route?" "Currently developing a tactical solution to that situation." A series of rapid, precisely timed shots echoed from the towering peaks surrounding their position. The enemy retreat instantly transformed into complete chaos as their entire command structure was systematically eliminated, with shots that seemed to defy physics and marksmanship principles. Shadow 1, this is absolutely extraordinary precision shooting. What's your military background? The voice that responded carried the weight of extensive combat experience and something that sounded like carefully controlled emotion. Navy Special Warfare, multiple classified operations, long time ago. Now, what's your operational designation, sailor? Another lengthy pause. You can call me Ghost. The tactical situation was dramatically shifting in their favor. What had appeared to be a hopeless final stand was rapidly becoming a methodical elimination of hostile forces. But Steele understood that even the most skilled marksman couldn't maintain this incredible engagement pace indefinitely. Ghost, what's your ammunition status? Sufficient for all anticipated requirements. That wasn't a detailed tactical assessment, but Steele didn't request specifics. Whoever Ghost was, he was systematically saving their lives with every perfectly placed shot. The hostile force was reduced to fewer than 22 fighters, and their coordinated assault had completely collapsed into desperate individual survival attempts. Some were frantically trying to escape up the steep canyon walls. Others were desperately seeking better defensive positions among the rocky formations. Ghost's precision fire adapted instantly to each developing situation. Fleeing targets were engaged at extreme range with shots that would have been impossible for conventional snipers. Enemy fighters seeking concealed positions discovered that their hiding places offered no protection from a shooter positioned at superior elevation, with complete observation of the entire canyon floor. Delta Team, I'm observing movement in the cave system along the western cliff face. Appears they're attempting to establish a fortified position with overlapping fields of fire. Steele examined the area through his tactical scope with intense focus. Confirmed visual. That's going to create serious problems if they successfully establish defensive positions there. Not going to be an issue. What happened next demonstrated why Navy Special Warfare snipers are considered among the world's absolute elite marksmen. Ghost engaged targets concealed inside cave openings, using precisely calculated ricochets off the limestone walls, utilizing the mountainous terrain to redirect his shots into positions that should have been impossible to engage with direct fire. How are you making those impossible ricochet shots? Storm asked over the radio, her voice filled with professional amazement. Advanced ballistics calculations, environmental physics, and 28 years of field experience came the matter-of-fact response. The enemy force was systematically collapsing. What had begun as a coordinated ambush by 60 professional fighters was ending as a desperate struggle for survival by fewer than 10 completely demoralized combatants. But those final 10 represented the most dangerous threat. Cornered, desperate, and with nothing left to lose, they were preparing for a final suicidal assault on the sealed defensive positions. Delta Actual. Immediate warning. The remaining hostiles are massing for a direct assault. They're preparing to attempt overrunning your position with everything remaining. Steele checked his ammunition with growing concern. Less than one magazine remaining. Around him, his men were reporting similarly critical shortages. Ghost, we're running critically low on ammunition. Can you disrupt their final assault? Negative. They're utilizing terrain dead space that I cannot effectively engage from my current position. You're going to have to handle this engagement independently. The last desperate assault erupted with suicidal intensity. The surviving enemy fighters charged across the canyon floor in a final coordinated wave, firing continuously as they advanced, hoping to close distance before the Americans could bring effective defensive fire against their attack. It was exactly the type of close-quarters engagement that Navy SEALs trained for constantly under the most realistic conditions possible. Steele and his men maintained fire discipline until the attackers closed to within 30 meters, then opened up with controlled, precisely aimed shots that dropped the first wave of charging combatants. The second wave continued their attack through the bodies of their fallen comrades. Reloading. Rodriguez shouted as his weapon ran empty, covering fire. Storm immediately shifted her rifle to protect him during his vulnerable reload. The battle had become intensely personal and absolutely lethal. Each shot carried critical importance. Each second determined survival or death. Ghost's authoritative voice cut through the combat chaos. Delta Team, drop flat immediately. Execute now. Steele didn't question the urgent command. Everyone hit the deck immediately. The SEALs pressed themselves against the rocky canyon floor as Ghost's rifle cracked repeatedly from his elevated position. The remaining enemy fighters, caught exposed during their final charge, were eliminated with shots that somehow threaded perfectly between the prone SEALs with accuracy that defied human capability. Then suddenly, the entire hidden canyon fell into complete silence. Steele raised his head cautiously. No movement visible anywhere. No muzzle flashes. No incoming fire. Delta Team, sound off. One by one, his men reported their status. Wounded, exhausted, ammunition depleted, but miraculously alive. Ghost, this is Delta Actual. Tactical situation appears secure. What's your status?
Complete radio silence.
Ghost, respond immediately. Nothing. Steele grabbed his binoculars and systematically scanned the cliff faces where the precision fire had been originating. No sign of movement. No indication anyone had ever been positioned there. Storm, did you acquire any visual on our Guardian? Negative throughout the entire engagement. Never saw him once. But whoever he is, he just saved 12 American lives today. The emergency extraction arrived 52 minutes later. 3 Blackhawks with Apache escort carrying heavily armed Marines who discovered 12 extremely grateful Navy SEALs and 60 dead enemy combatants scattered throughout the canyon in positions that defied tactical explanation. During the comprehensive operational debriefing, Steele attempted to identify their mysterious savior. Military intelligence had no record of any friendly sniper teams operating within 400 kilometers of Sector Black 7. The Marines who conducted extraction confirmed no other American forces were deployed in this uncharted area. Steele told his commanding officer during the classified after-action review. Someone with extensive special operations training was providing overwatch. Someone with advanced equipment and professional training. He understood our procedures, our protocols, our communications. This wasn't some civilian with hunting equipment. Captain Williams reviewed the detailed report with obvious skepticism. Lieutenant Commander, you're officially reporting that an unidentified sniper eliminated 60 enemy combatants from elevated positions, coordinated professional fire support with your team using proper military procedures, then disappeared without leaving any evidence. Yes, sir. That's exactly what happened. And this ghost claimed Navy Special Warfare background? Confirmed. He demonstrated advanced knowledge of precision marksmanship that would be consistent with that specialized training. Williams closed the classified file with bureaucratic finality. Officially, SEAL Team Delta successfully accomplished reconnaissance objectives and effectively defended against enemy assault with 0 friendly casualties in Sector Black 7. There will be no mention of unidentified personnel in any documentation. Sir, with respect, that's not accurate. That's the end of discussion, Steele. Sometimes unexplained events occur in remote areas. We don't always receive complete explanations. We simply express gratitude and continue our mission. But Steele couldn't simply continue without investigation. That night, he returned to the hidden canyon with a small reconnaissance team, methodically searching the cliff faces for any evidence of their mysterious protector. On a rocky ledge 600 feet above where the SEALs had made their desperate stand, they discovered a single shell casing. Type 338 Lapua Magnum, premium match-grade ammunition, the preferred caliber of military precision marksmen operating at extreme ranges. Next to it, carefully carved into the solid granite with a combat knife, was a simple inscription. The only easy day was yesterday. Navy SEAL motto. Steele secured the shell casing and gazed across the canyon where 12 men had been saved by someone they'd never seen, never met, and would probably never encounter again. 11 months later, Steele was stationed stateside, presenting at an advanced special operations conference about small unit tactics and leadership under extreme conditions. During the evening reception, an older man approached him. perhaps 65 years old, deeply weathered features, gray beard, wearing a conservative business suit that couldn't completely conceal his unmistakable military bearing. Lieutenant Commander Steele. Yes, sir. I attended your presentation about that canyon engagement in Afghanistan. Extremely interesting tactical scenario. Steele studied the man's weathered face with growing recognition. Something about his calm, authoritative voice seemed familiar. Were you operating in that area, sir? The man smiled slightly. I might have been conducting independent operations in that general region. Steele's pulse accelerated with sudden recognition. Ghost. The man's expression remained carefully neutral, but his eyes held unmistakable acknowledgement. Sir, I never had the opportunity to properly thank you for what you accomplished. No thanks required, son. You and your team were executing your sworn duty. I simply happened to be executing mine. What exactly was your mission in that canyon, sir? The man was already walking away through the crowded reception hall, ensuring that good sailors make it home safely to their families where they belong. He disappeared into the crowd before Steele could ask another question or request identification. Later that evening, Steele searched extensively for any trace of him. Hotel registrations, conference attendance records, anything that might identify the mysterious individual. Nothing could be located. But at the hotel bar, the bartender mentioned that an older gentleman had specifically left something for the Navy presentation officer. It was a small wooden presentation box containing a military challenge coin, Navy Special Warfare Association. On one side was the traditional seal trident. On the other side, hand-engraved with obvious care, were 12 small stars arranged in perfect tactical formation, one star for each SEAL who returned home alive that day. Steele carried that challenge coin throughout the remainder of his distinguished naval career. Sometimes during the most dangerous and seemingly impossible missions, when tactical situations looked hopeless and backup seemed unavailable, he would touch it carefully and remember that sometimes assistance arrives from the most unexpected sources in the most remote locations. The hidden canyon in Afghanistan became known among special operations personnel as Guardian Canyon. The official records might not acknowledge what actually transpired there, but the stories spread throughout the tight-knit community. Stories about a mysterious precision marksman who appears when American forces face overwhelming odds in remote locations. Someone who shoots with supernatural accuracy, coordinates like a seasoned veteran, and vanishes without leaving any trace. The stories are never officially confirmed, but they're never officially denied either. And sometimes when special operations teams find themselves surrounded and outnumbered in some remote corner of the world, they hear a calm, professional voice on their communications. Maintain your positions and allow me to work. Because some warriors never truly retire from protecting their brothers in arms. They just discover new methods of ensuring mission success. Steele never learned Ghost's complete identity or service record. Never discovered how he came to be positioned in that hidden canyon at exactly the right moment with perfect equipment and unlimited ammunition. But he learned something infinitely more valuable. In a world filled with danger and uncertainty, there are still dedicated individuals willing to stand the solitary watch in remote places. Still guardians who ask nothing in return except the knowledge that good people return home safely to their families. The shell casing from Guardian Canyon sits on Steele's office desk today. A constant reminder that heroes don't always wear official uniforms, don't always follow standard procedures, and don't always seek recognition. Sometimes they simply accomplish what needs to be done, then disappear back into the wilderness, patiently waiting for the next time their unique skills are desperately needed by those who serve. And in an increasingly dangerous world filled with unmapped threats, that's exactly when true warriors matter most.